Hello and welcome, I'm Arumba. Thank you for joining me. This is episode 5 of Let's Play Dwarf Fortress. And we are in the fortress of Ideneral, paddled vessel. So, I had to take a quick break because there was a slight issue with Quick Fort. I was getting ready to use it and I needed to make an adjustment to the game files to make it work properly. I've patched the download, so just in case you downloaded it already, you might want to download it again because Quick Fort wouldn't work. And so Quick Fort, let's talk about Quick Fort for a second. Basically, Quick Fort allows you to create pre-made designs or templates and then print them into the game. So instead of having to design an actual layout that you want to use, you can make it one time and then use it on every single fortress you ever create. Quick Fort comes with a whole bunch of pre-made templates. Right in here, you can see them. These are already in the download. So for instance, in the Quick Fort directory, there's a folder called Blueprints. You've got the Quick Fortress, examples, tests, and then Arumba is, the ones that I like to use. So let's do windmill bedrooms. We're going to select windmill dig, and I'm going to press Alt-H to hide the tooltip for a second. Now the problem is that there's just one issue, and that's that Quick Fort requires you to kind of give control of the cursor to it so that it can run the program. And it conflicts with this mouse query tracking tool. So you know how when we click D and it kind of follows our mouse? Well, unfortunately that makes it so Quick Fort won't work. So if you're going to use Quick Fort, which I recommend you do learn how to use it, it's a very good program, we just need to temporarily disable mouse query tracking. So we're going to go over to DFHack and we're going to type mouse query track. Enable turns it on, and then mouse query space track turns it off. So just click that, press enter. And now, when we press it, notice how that little icon there stays there. It still follows the cursor, but it doesn't move that thing to follow where my mouse went. Where before, when it's enabled, it actually moves it to follow the cursor. See what I mean? Okay, so let's turn it off. Now I can go to Quick Fort. And let's press Alt-H to bring up that tooltip again. And Alt-F to pick our file. I want to do windmill bedrooms. We'll select windmill dig. And now I'm going to tell it, okay, here's where I want you to actually dig the bedrooms. So first, let's designate some up-down stairs, like say right here. And we'll leave the centerpiece actually as just a hole in the wall, so we can put like a statue or something there. Maybe a gold or something statue, something fancy. Now we're going to go one level down from there. We're going to click D, and we're going to move the cursor to that spot. I actually have to do it with the keyboard. And then from here it says Alt-V will show our footprint, Alt-D will start playback. So let's press Alt-V to see the footprint. That's where it's going to put the design. I'll do that one more time just so you can see it. This kind of gives you an idea of like how much space it's going to need. Alt-D will actually do the playback. Voila! This is called the windmill bedroom design. This is, according to the Dwarf Fortress wiki, the most efficient design when it comes to distance from the stairwell to the bedroom. Each one of these little branches is a bedroom. There's room for a bed, a chest, a cabinet, and a door. So there's 1, 2, 3. There's I believe it's 7 per wing. Let's count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yep. So 7, and then there's 4 wings. So 28 dwarves per floor. If you make 7 floors, there's enough room for about 100 dwarves. Or no, excuse me, 7 floors is enough room for about a 200 dwarf fortress. So, super efficient. Everyone's only a few tiles away from the central staircase, and it's a very good design, one that I like to use quite often. Yes, there's a swastika in the center. It's not my fault that somebody ruined it. The swastika is a very efficient, very cool symbol. I am going to also carve out these spots. And actually, let's make those stairwells again. Oops, I seem to have misclicked. DD, DD, DD. Okay, and that's all I really wanted to do for Quick Fort for now. Let's go up one more level and make sure that this makes sense. Yeah, that looks fine. Now, the up-down stairs in the spots that aren't going to match don't really make sense because they won't be able to actually use them. So let's actually match it. We'll go full stairs. I want to do DI like that, and then DD in the center. There we go. And I am going to go back and turn on our mouse query function again, because I like that. Okay, so we've got a nice bedroom setup laid out. Now for the actual storage, I want to just put a big storage room right here inside. We'll go like, say, that big, with a 3-door entrance. And I like things to be symmetrical, so 5 by 5. Yeah, that's fine. Now if you want to use the keyboard, you still, you could just use the keyboard. I mean, if you prefer to not play with mouse query, that's fine. Playing without the keyboard is without the mouse is actually quite useful, because if you have numlock disengaged, you can use shift and the keypad to move by 10 tiles at a time. So it's pretty easy to kind of move around and make very symmetrical designs. Like, I commonly do something like this, where I'll go enter, shift, enter, and then I know it's an exact layout. But so far I'm finding that this mouse query thing is just so user-friendly that I'm going to play with it. Okay, so that's going to be where we move all the stuff after it's here. It's not going to be a lot of work for them to bring it indoors, but we don't want to leave it all outside. We're only going to basically keep the animals that need food outside. Other than that, everything's going indoors. These little triangles represent ramps, so a dwarf that's on this sea level can use this ramp to go up 1 level to this tile, and then this ramp here can be used to get up to this tile, this ramp up to this tile. Those little down arrows represent that there is a downward facing ramp from this tile going down 1 Z level. So it's kind of trying to make sense of that layout for you there. I don't want them to dig all of these tunnels quite yet, because we only have 7 dwarves, so let's go ahead and block off a few of them. We'll go DX, and let's just carve out 1 wing, like that. And then later on we can add in the other wings to our bedroom area. Again, they're going to get upset when they're actually living down here and people are digging around them, making noise, but I don't really care. They'll be happy enough as is. Now, I did end up closing Dwarf Therapist earlier, so let's go ahead and get that fired up. And we should be good to go. Oh shoot, see, now this is something I don't want him to do. See this poor guy right here? Shem? Shem the peasant is dragging a stone by hand from the tunnel out to the stone stockpile. Now, I had told them I want them to bring all of the stone and everything to the stockpile, but I don't really want them dragging it out of the fortress to the entrance. So let's go ahead and we can take a look at the type of stone. This is dolomite. I'm going to go to the stone stockpile, actually the everything stockpile, press S for settings. I'm going to go down to stone. We're going to go over and we're going to find economic, dolomite, press enter to turn dolomite off. So I'm basically saying, no, never mind, don't bring dolomite over here anymore. And in fact, you know what I'm going to do instead? We only brought 1 type of stone with me, so just in case, let's forbid all stone. We'll disable stone, and then enable it again, we'll block all, and the only thing I want them to move is marble, which I believe is an economic stone. Yep. That way they'll only bring the marble from the wagon, and everything else that we uncover will be gone. Now, Locum has become a miner. What that means is that if we read dwarves, he's got at least 1 point. Since that's his highest level skill, you can go from level 0 all the way up to level 20. He is now called a miner in-game, and he gets his own little icon, and his character kind of avatar will change. He looks like a little miner. So he's got a little pick on his back and a little mining helmet. If we zoom way in, we can actually see it a little bit better. See that little pickaxe and the mining helmet. We'll zoom back out again because I don't like playing that close. And so, yeah. So now when we look at the unit list as well, it's going to say Locum, Miner. And then everyone else is still Peasant. They'll get some attributes later. Let's just make sure they're all working. Everyone's working, no one's idle. Let's check out this area, see how they're doing on supplies. We have a lot of stuff that still needs to get carried. Yeah, it's going to take them a while. I could use a wheelbarrow or a minecart to make it a little bit quicker, but I don't really want to worry about it yet. Hey, so it's spring. Some of our stuff is melting. Those little pebbles represent the brook. It's kind of a strange icon for it, but this is considered, just think of it as water. It's a river that can be walked over. So the pebbles kind of represent shallow water. If it was an actual stream, then it would be water and they could fall through. And this represents the depth of the water. It's still frozen. The actual water itself is still frozen, but the surface is starting to melt. Got some shrubs here. Can't really tell what they are, but that's good. That means there's going to be bushes for us to harvest. We'll be able to get some food from the realm. The realm. Getting all confused with my Dwarf Fortress. Now, in general, dwarves prefer to do activities from the top left to the bottom right. That's just part of the way that the game is kind of coded. So, even though I told them to dig here, and they can reach this location, they're going to try to dig out this area first, and then work their way down. If I really wanted to control where they work, I could use a burrow, but we're not going to worry about that for quite yet. Still snow-covered ryegrass. I bet within the next few minutes of gameplay, everything else is going to end up being melted as well. I picked a pretty temperate area. I mean, it was temperate forest. Okay. We've got people still storing items. Everyone's still doing stuff. Now, see how these items are flashing? That's just letting you know that there's multiple items there, or that there's like an overlap. So there's an item there, but then there's also the stockpile designation. When it does that little flip thing, it's letting you know that there's a chicken and a dog, or actually it's a turkey hen, on that tile. Since this is our bedroom floor, I'm going to go ahead and put a hotkey here. Press F3, zoom. Alright, so now they're heading to over here. They're digging out the stairs. That's those X's. An X represents an upstair, downstair. And now they're starting to dig out the actual bedrooms. Now, before we can actually make them into bedrooms, we're going to need some wood. We did bring some wood, so let's go ahead and build a couple of our first shops and everything. And actually, let's do this. I'm going to take this stockpile and I thought I remember, how did I do it before? There's a way to copy a stockpile. Copy stock, how do you do that? Is it a, I think it's a DFHack feature. Let's check that. Is it copy stock? I know I've done it before. Copy stockpile under currents, under cursor. That's right. So if you already have a stockpile and you just want to move it, rather than creating a new one and having to re-specify all of the items, go ahead and press P for stockpiles, hover over your stockpile, and then while it's selected, while you're on it, tab back to DFHack and type copy stock. And that's going to copy up here all of those settings. So now we can place it here. We'll just move everything indoors. And if we press Q or we click on it and go to settings, we should see that it's the exact same settings as the other one was. It holds everything except for no stones other than marble. So now I'm going to take this and actually we'll just press P, X, and we'll delete this one now. It was a temporary stockpile in the first place. And I also want to create room for a couple of... we'll just put it out here. So we're going to build a workshop, B workshop, BW, and then I want a crafts dwarfs. No, carpenter's workshop. So let's see. I like how it follows it around. It's so convenient. Okay, so we'll build a carpenter's workshop right outside for now. When you're building a construction like this, if you click once, it will place it, and then it's going to ask you, okay, what do you want to build it out of? You can use the mouse wheel to scroll through this list. We can make it out of marble, willow logs, pine logs, or dolomite. Dist represents how far away from this spot, any edge of it, is the closest item. So marble is the closest. There's some marble that's 3 units away, and there are 6 total units of marble available. It's only going to take 1 item, 1 unit, to build this carpenter's workshop, so let's just use some marble for now since it's temporary. Marble is that flux stone, so we're going to want to recover the marble after we're done using it, but for now we need to start making a few beds. Now the miners are almost completed. They've almost finished digging this out. It's very important that you keep your miners working. They have to be digging. I mean, it's Dwarf Fortress. If they're not digging, then you're not getting new resources, and you're missing out. So now we're going to enable all the rest of them. I've had them dig out an entire wing of the bedroom set, so we'll be able to build out on that later. Now they can dig out the remainder. And now they're bringing the rest of our stuff in. It's very nice. Let's go ahead and actually establish our pasture. Create a pasture out here. We'll flag that as a pen or pasture. I'm going to press G for grazing, capital G rather. Actually, how do I want to do this? I want to take the... Okay, that's how you do it, yeah. So, pressing capital G toggles non-grazing. So these are my grazing animals. And this symbol up here lets you know that they're currently pastured. I'm going to press enter, and then I'm going to cycle through it and press enter again and again and again. I'm actually telling them to move them from here to this section. This is a decent size area for them to graze outside. It changes the highlight because they are currently assigned to a pasture, but it's darker because they're not in the pasture. If, on the other hand, I assigned them to this one, it would instantly be white because they're in their assigned pasture. This is kind of important because if a unit is not in its assigned pasture, a dwarf will have to go and drag them to the pasture. Invaders and ambushers, thieves and things can scare your animals, so it's pretty common that you want to build like a wall around them so that they're safe and they don't get spooked and run away and cause your dwarves to have extra labor. Alright, so at some point, if anyone has nothing to do, they'll shift them over slightly. Alright, so we just got an announcement. They've suspended the construction of a carpenter's workshop. So, that's this one right here. And I thought I had it on by default. There was another function that came in the game. That highlights when things are suspended. Well, we'll look at it later. So anyway, this is suspended. We'll just press unsuspend. The chickens are kind of interfering with the construction of the carpenter's workshop. Damn chickens. We should murder some of them. Let's check F1, see how much stuff is still over here. Fortunately, all the food is in barrels, so it shouldn't rot. It should be just fine. Not going to worry about cutting down new trees or gathering any bushes and berries and things until we actually have a supply issue with food. We still have quite a bit of food. This poor guy's dragging that marble over there by hand. This is not currently active. Where's my carpenter? What is he doing? My carpenter is Stukos. If we read dwarves, we can see what he's doing. He's currently hauling. Let's temporarily disable his hauling labor so that he stops that and goes and does his job. I need him to actually move that item for me. Or, sorry, not move the item, but, you know, build that. And then he needs to get to work making beds. Now, these guys here aren't doing anything. They're drinking right now. Dwarves need liquor. Now that thing is no longer frozen, it actually looks like water. If we zoom down, we can see that it is 7 depth. Water can be anywhere from one unit of depth up to 7, but again, this is safe. They can actually go through there. Although these are murky ponds. This is a murky pool. Looks like there's a murky pool here. So they could fall into the murky pool, but not into the brook. The brook is safe. So, okay, well, we've dug out the first floor. We've gotten most of the stuff where it should be, and I think this is a good spot to take a break. I'm going to wrap it up here, and in the next video we'll start building. Look at that. He's working on it right now. He's constructing a building. The damn chickens are in the way again, so we'll have to take care of that soon. I'm going to wrap it up here. Thanks so much for watching. We'll see you again in the next video.